Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Did you see it in the news? The Biden-Harris administration announces a supply chain task force. My first thought is, wow, maybe we're going to find out how come there was not enough food in the store last year when they were telling us there were no supply chain interruptions. Or how come when we're going to the store and buying food this year, it's the same date as the food we bought last year. It's the same food. It wasn't put out in the store last year. It was held out somewhere. Where is the fresh food and what's going to happen in a few more months? But then I thought, whoa, wait a minute. Does this mean they're going to start rationing food, telling us what we can have and when? And guess what? I read on and it has nothing to do with that. They're not interested in where's the food that we were looking for last winter, where is the food that we're hoping to have in the future, because if you look at the details of their supply chain task force, they're concentrating on 4 areas: vaccines and their essential supplies, making vaccines available to even more people. I thought everybody could get a vaccine that wanted one. Semiconductor chips, rare earth element mining. Haven't they been shutting down some of the mining and the oil field explorations in the United States? Infrastructure and cybersecurity. Maybe these are all critical topics to our nation as a whole, but none of this are things that I've been concerned with. None of this is something that on a day-to-day basis affects our ability to be able to feed our family. Where are the supplies that the people need on a day-to-day basis? This sounds more like this is for big businesses, corporations, government contracts. This didn't seem to me to be the concerns of everyday Americans. We're wondering, is there going to be enough food? Are we going to be able to afford it? What's going to happen going forward with crop failures, droughts, extreme heat, and all kinds of problems? If you're a beginner at prepping and you haven't started stockpiling food yet, or you have just a few things and you're wondering what you should do next, you definitely need to start bulking up on the food that you have. That yes, it would be great if you could take the time, make it personal, go through the foods you eat for 3 weeks at a time, write everything down, and then shop for all of those items. Then make sure you find a way to have the foods that you choose in a shelf-stable format. Your fresh produce may not become available, and you need to have a way that you can have some fruits and vegetables, some meats, whether it's in your freezer, a way that are dry, dehydrated in your pantry, or canned. Make sure that you have the foods that you need. If keeping track of the foods that you eat on a day-to-day basis seems like a big old chore, then just fall back on the basic prepper foods. Beans, rice, pasta, oatmeal. Those are foods that can last for 30 years in your pantry. You can store them into empty, clean canning jars, plastic containers with tight-fitting lids. You can vacuum seal those containers. You can put them into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, put them into 5-gallon buckets. The longer you want the food to last, the better that you need to store it. If it's food you're going to be using within the next year, it's not necessary to use the oxygen absorbers, the Mylar bags, and the buckets. That's for the longest lasting, deepest food storage that can last for years. Yes, you can get it out and use it in the meantime, but that food that you're putting away with the very best, longest life, you need to have plenty of it, that's not the only food you have to eat today. For every pound of pasta, I like to have 2 jars of sauce. That seems to be the right ratio for the recipes that I make. If you use canned tomatoes, look for them in different flavors and varieties. You can find them with basil, garlic, you can find fire roasted. There's all different types of varieties that can add a different flavor to the foods that you make, just with the addition of a little bit different sauce and spices. It may not always be possible to prepare your big bags of dried beans. They're already prepared in the can. You just need to open them up. You can add them into your recipes, then you make your meals more filling and add lots of protein and calories. Look for different types of canned meats. You can find everything from beef, turkey, chicken, seafood, all kinds of different cans of meat. You don't have to just get Spam. Choose the meats that you like to eat. There's a wide variety of them. Look them over. If there's something that you see you've never tried before, take one home and try it. If you like it, go back and get more. Don't stock up on something you're not sure if you're going to like it. Look for canned fruits and vegetables. Look for vegetables that are packed with low or no salt. Look for fruits that are packed in water or in their natural juice. Try to avoid the extra sodium and the sugars that sometimes come with canned fruits and vegetables. Stock up on packaged foods that are easy to prepare. You just need to maybe add water, maybe some butter, maybe some milk, and you can add lots of different things to these to make a fuller, bigger, better meal. You can add canned vegetables, canned meats, serve fruit on the side. There's all different ways that you can prepare these easy foods that can be put on the table in a matter of minutes. I take the packets of noodles and I store lots of extras into a 5-gallon bucket with a tight fitting lid. They're pretty airtight, and then when you seal them up better, they last several years longer than the date on the package. When it comes to the boxed meals, I like to take them out of the box, store them in a Ziploc bag, and then inside of a clean canning jar. It helps keep it airtight. Then you can just pull out one bag and you have your one package that you can prepare for your meal. Look for prepared foods that are already ready to eat in the can. You can find ravioli, lasagna, chili, all different kinds of foods. Look up and down the aisle and see if you can find something that appeals to you. And if you do, get one and take it home and try it. If you find one that you like, stock up on them. These tend to last for several years past the best by use by sell by date. You can find flavored beans, all kinds of soups, and one of the things that I'm finding is in short supply are the soups that have meat in them. Everything seems to be vegetarian vegetable, or vegetables with beans or noodles, or tomato with basil. Nothing seems to be the hearty full meals of soup that we used to be able to find before the pandemic. Yes, foods are still available, but the variety is decreasing, and if you look on the shelf, there might be a full row on the front, but then there aren't any cans or packages on the back of the shelf, or half of the aisle is the exact same food. They don't have all the varieties of each food that they used to have in the store. Get peanut butter, jelly, honey, the foods that you and your kids enjoy eating. Find crackers that they're good to serve with. One of the crackers that I like to get is the pilot bread. It's the Alaskan favorite cracker, and it lasts forever. And so if you can find some pilot bread, stock up on that too. I made a video about pilot bread and ways that you can serve it, and I'll put a link to that video in case you're interested. Think about the essentials you need when you're cooking. Do you need oil? Do you need salt and pepper? Do you need spices? What are the things that you use, and those are the foods that you need to make sure you have in your stockpile. Somebody else's list isn't going to necessarily keep your family fed, and if there's foods that you don't like or don't know what to do with, don't get them. Find something that your family can eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. That's how you have a successful prepper pantry. When I went in my kitchen this morning, the water was barely coming out of the faucet, so I don't know what the problem was, but I sure as heck wasn't going to let the last few drops of water run down the drain or into somebody else's drain. So I quickly grabbed every empty canning jar that I had and filled them up with water. I set them aside. Now I have extra water. The jars were in the pantry anyway, so if you have extra containers, fill them up. Use them for water. Use them to store your dry foods. Use them to stock up on the things that your family depends on having and that you are going to need. And if you don't have a supply of actual clean drinking water, make sure that you're stocking up now. We can live for days without food, but we can only go a few days without water. And not only do you need water for drinking, you need water for cooking, for cleaning, and for your personal hygiene. Make accommodations for people in your family that have special dietary needs. You have the things that your small children would need. And if you have pets, they rely on you too. You need to provide their food and water. We don't know what the future holds, but it's certainly been more complicated in the last several months and year to figure out where is the world going? What do we need to do? What can we count on in the future? Nobody knows what the future holds. Wouldn't it be nice if we did? And nothing that you're stockpiling should be foods that you're not willing to eat. And so if nothing happens, guess what? You just keep eating with the foods you bought today into the future, which actually can save you some money because the cost of food is going up. So don't stock up on things that you don't intend to use. Don't stock up on things because you might want to barter. That's a waste of your dollars and your space. You need to supply the things that you want, the things that your family needs, and that's how you become a successful prepper. So whether you're a beginner or you're making sure that you're having the additional things that you need, take a look at your supplies, inventory what you need, and really listen to your heart. Get the things that you know in your heart you need to make sure that your family has what they need going forward. If you liked my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.